Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2,
Okay,
3.
you came through.
This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down, down. waltzing the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to, happy Labor Day. But welcome to another episode. Hey, Vincent, are you afraid of being marginalized and stereotyped?
Why should I be afraid of what I already am?
Oh man, Diane, are you afraid of being marginalized and stereotyped?
Not at all.
Yo, so listen, we got to lean.
I'm fighting the marginalized discrimination and the stereotypical beliefs of people of color. No, I'm fighting it. No, I'm not afraid of it. I'm attacking.
You know, we have to lean into it. That's absolutely right. We got to attack it, recognize what it is, and you know, we have to fight back. So, and and it's easy to identify those people who are not fighting back, those people who have become complacent, comfortable in our condition, and those people who are trying to make you comfortable in it by accepting things that are not going to bring about the change that we need. So, welcome, guys. Appreciate any time that you can give us as we unpack the goings-ons here in America. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I am well rested, guys. I didn't go to the kitchen today, so I got all the energy in the world. So bring it. I'm good for today. What are a couple things that are going on? I posted. Actually, I responded to a post. Let's see if I could find it. A good friend of mine, Walter Fields, who vacated New Jersey a while ago and moved to Maryland for a myriad of reasons. One, I'm sure, has to do with the high taxes here. Just the dysfunctionality of Essex County and New Jersey in particular. But he had posted, let's see if I can find it, and then Walter Fields. And then I responded to something he posted, just another injustice taking place here in America. There was a man who was charged with rape, who Ronnie Long was released after he spent 44 years in prison. You guys know that story?
Yep.
Okay. So in there, Walter said that he felt like crying as he watched this, the release and everything. Actually, I'll read what Walter said. He said, "This brought tears to my eyes. The injustices black people face in this nation are overwhelming." And so this was my response. I said, this nation has always abused black Americans. America was built on the understanding that black people were to be the commodity to their wealth and the power of the corporation of white supremacy. Through brutal and violent measures, America has sought to maintain the status quo, and black Americans, because of centuries built up of psychological damage, have passed along socially transmitted diseases that have, up to now, kept us suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. See, I think I encapsulated that, right? So when we see these things, it is astonishing, Vincent. It's kind of like we go through deja vu all over again, or it happens and we go, oh my God. Then it happens again and we go, oh my God. And it happens again and we go, oh my God. But it's been happening for 400 years. 400 years. And every time it happens, it's like it's new. That is...
No.
Go ahead. What do you say?
Every time it happens, it increases the level of conditioning to us to accept that as the norm and the reality. The worst... it's horrible that a man spent so many years of his life being unjustly prosecuted. And being a former inmate of the New Jersey correctional system, you do not understand the horrors that happen to a man when he goes into prison with the stigma of being a rapist. Incredible things happen to him. And you know what?
The other thing, Vincent, I don't think you mentioned, Eric, is they tried this man like 7 times.
Yeah.
7 times they tried, the same prosecutor tried to prosecute him, and 2 of the times it was an acquittal, but he just kept going, trying to convict this man to make sure that he was in jail forever.
Yeah. And see, and I want you guys to understand this. It is not that man that they're trying to convict. They're trying to convict black Americans. And he is just a symbol of black Americans, right? And so we look and say, oh, it's an individual. Oh, it's an individual. It's structural. right? It is, if you read the Willie Lynch letters, The Making of a Slave, it is just another black person that they're bringing out to the courtyard to discipline and to make an example of. And the belief is that through this system, if we continue to make examples of, right, we will institutionalize the thinking of black Americans to believe this. So it's not just him. And that's how, and I think that is the thing that we misunderstand is we look at this thing. We look at these one-offs. Oh, it was Rodney King. Oh, it was Eric Garner. Oh, it was Michael Brown. Oh, no, it is black. It is America against black Americans.
Right. So since we've been conditioned to believe that that's what black Americans do, they have that process of, one, they prosecute you and keep prosecuting you until you run out of money or get exhausted with fighting them.
No, but again, I'm saying it's not, but it's not the individual. Or they want black Americans to see their strength, right? Their resolve, right, to marginalize, to criminalize, to brutalize black Americans. They want us to see that on a daily basis. And so you get to the point where you say, we can't win. We can't fight against the system. We can't, and it's a constant beat down. That's what it is. It is a daily beat down.
Correct. Making you conditioned to not fight them. In fact, since it's rape and the violence of rape and the injustice of rape, they desensitize everybody to the fact that this man could be unjustly accused and prosecuted because everybody gets so emotionally charged against the rapist.
But again, Vincent, you're drilling down to I'm saying it's bigger than that, right? I'm looking at it on a macro level, and I'm going, that guy is a symbol. He's a symbol.
I agree with you, Eric. It is a symbol. It's the same as when they hung black people on trees and left them there.
That's absolutely right. It wasn't about that person that they hung. It was a symbol that said to any black person, this can and will happen to you.
Not can, will.
Right. So I just want to make sure, because you keep bringing it back to the smaller thing, and it's not that. It is a bigger message that is being sent. So even when we see Mr. what was his last name, Mr. Long, I believe, right, Ronnie. When we see him released, right, what is it that goes through a black American's mind, right? When we see that. And we know that there are so many more who are symbols of what happens. Like when I saw it, I said, and then the cheering. And so that's the other piece, right? So while these injustices are still going on, we're sitting here, we're cheering, right? We're painting Black Lives Matter in the streets. But we've got how many countless more that are suffering right now. So instead of dealing in a broader way, in a broader way about this thing, we're focused now, I think, on him, right? And so when I read the thing about Walter's page about this bringing tears to his eyes, I'm like, yo, listen, we should be crying every day. Every day.
Eric, the thing is that, and I agree with you. What I'm saying to you is that, yeah, we've talked on a macro. Okay, this is symbolization that has been going on since slavery. But yes, what we have to understand is that this is on a micro. This is a small battle. We have yet to win the war. Now, and I can understand the release, because when I was falsely accused and prosecuted, taken to trial on second-degree aggravated assault, when I was found not guilty, okay, the release is so emotional. I mean, I broke down in tears in court. People from the jury were coming over to hug me. That's how intense it is, and that process is. It's not something that I wish on anybody. That's why we have to keep up the fight. We can't not accept that this one battle as a victory on the totality against Black America. We have to keep our foot on the gas. That is the only way we're going to win this.
See, I'm saying we got to put our foot on the gas. You say you got to keep our foot on the gas. I don't know that we particularly have our foot on the gas. I'm telling you, I think that this is just another example. I believe right now, at least, right, of this structural system looking and saying, okay, you know, we see that there's a hiccup right now in the matrix, right? All these folks who have been plugged in, there is, I wouldn't even call it an awakening right now, right? But there is certainly a hiccup. And I think that they're getting in front of it with all of their tools, their media tools and everything else, and their Negro whisperers and slave catchers. They're getting in front of this thing and they're saying, you know what? We have to emotionalize them, because that's what we know most about them, is that they're emotional creatures. That's what they believe, right? Historically, that they're emotional. And so we emotionalize this whole thing for them. We distract them from tangible stuff and we get them in their feelings. And then once we can get them in their feelings, right, then we can misdirect. And I think that that's what's happening right now, because there still is. So we see all of this stuff. We know this is the secret that's everybody knows about. That's the funny thing, right? It's a secret that everybody knows about. That in those prisons right now, you have countless men and women like Ronnie. So,
and not even that, Eric, I don't think there's one Black family that can say that they will have a family member, a boyfriend that they know, who has either been wrongly prosecuted, who has been given an extended amount of time more than their white counterparts in jail now. That should be enough for people to pay attention, but they don't.
Right. And so my question is, when we're having this conversation about reparations, right, or some Black Americans are still confused about whether or not we should be demanding reparations, which I find to be absolutely hysterical, right? That within the Black community, but that is the mental conditioning, right? The psychological condition that we fight against our own best interest. They taught us how to do that. And the Willie Lynch letter said, if there's no back door for the Negro, he'll make his own back door. Right? So it's just crazy. But anyway, so when we look at, and it was his last name Long? I just want to make sure I'm saying his last name. Let me go back to the... Yes, Ronnie Long. So Mr. Long, so the question that I have to ask is, generationally for him, where's the repair? Right? So people are clapping that the man is out, right? But I would imagine, Vincent, based on what you're talking about in terms of the trauma, right? Not only Mr. Long, but his entire family is gonna need some sort of counseling, right? Forever, maybe, right? So that's one of the things that the government should write off. You know what? This man, his family, they all get counseling for the rest of their lives. That's part of the repair.
Well, you have to look at the emotional the emotional toll on the family.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So looking at that, they need to be repaired.
Well, not only that, but it goes a little deeper.
Okay.
Because when a Black man is actually prosecuted, you've got those Negro whisperers and the conditioning that believe that he's guilty. Even his own family.
No, I understand that. So I'm saying they need to be repaired. Right? So all of whatever it is you're getting ready to lay out, at the end of the day, there needs to be some repairing of it, because we now have to acknowledge the damage. Right, that there's damage, and
the repair should not be just his immediate family.
I'm not suggesting that it should be. I'm saying, but we need to look at repair.
Yeah.
To whomever, right? That if we acknowledge a socially transmitted disease, so now whatever anger, whatever anxiety, whatever depression, go down a list of what those things are. I'm not a professional, but whatever those things are, we know right now that that is infecting that family. And it's infecting the periphery of that family, friends, right, loved ones, concerned parties, all of them, trauma, right? And so the question is that reverberation, how is it being managed? And then when we just look and go, well, we let him out, that's enough. And then, you know what, Negroes, you all should be happy, you know, that he got out, and that should be the end of it. No, I'm going, where's the repair? And so now once we start looking at that and the trauma of it, then we can start to have the conversation too, right, about ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. And then say, well, okay, trauma, repair. See, trauma, repair. Not enough to just say, you know, that, you know, we allowed some people to move into some neighborhoods, or we allowed some people to go to some schools, even though we still have the most segregated schools in New Jersey. We allowed some people to do some things. Allowed. Even the allowing of it.
Here is the hurdle and the recompense of someone going through that, because I'm going through it myself. By law, after you are duly tried and acquitted of those charges, you have the right to pursue charges against those who falsely accused you. Now, that is true. That is the law. Here is the underlying condition. One, there are firms that will not take on municipalities. Will not, because they're afraid of them, or they work with them in other capacities, or they have other interests. And in my case,
right, but we understand that. So I'm saying,
let me finish.
Right, but I want to bring it from the micro to the macro.
Well, here's the macro. In my case,
that you still at the micro.
Eric,
go ahead.
Please let me finish. In my case, one of the things that they have done is once I've hired an attorney, the municipality turns around and puts them on the payroll.
Right.
That's the macro of it. So we can't get healing, we can't get movement for help or compensation of a person and their family who went through this trauma, because the system is stacked against them. That's why we stay in that condition. Why fight? I'm going to lose. Let me try to piece together my life with everybody still believing that I'm a rapist or a criminal. Why fight the police for their injustice when they think that we're all gun carrying, toting killers and rapists? That's the condition. We don't fight because we don't think it's worth fighting for. Instead of saying that, you know what, I've already been sacrificed. I need to continue this on and keep pushing.
Right.
Roll over and take it.
Or we fight for the wrong things, right? And that's what I'm talking about. So they create these distractions, and then we begin to fight for the wrong things. So now we're fighting to be able to paint Black Lives Matter on the streets. We're fighting to be able to tear down monuments. We're fighting to be able to do these things. And look, and we're fighting, in my opinion, we're fighting to get a guy elected president who I believe is not going to fundamentally change anything because he said so. So they get us fighting for the wrong stuff, for the wrong things, right? And so now we're splintered. I watch Facebook every day, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm watching the black community, black Americans, all scattered now, fighting for, I believe, the wrong things. Economic, political justice, economic and political power ought to be the things, in my opinion, that we need to be fighting for. So the political power, Vincent, where you're talking about all of these people who are in these positions who are continuing to prop up these policies that continue the status quo, continue to marginalize, brutalize Black Americans, those things need to be torn down. Not the statues. The hell with a statue. Put another statue next to it, right? Put a statue that teaches Black Americans and Americans in general about Black Americans, right? And how foundational we are. Leave the other one there. It will resolve itself through education, right? But simply tearing that down and not educating people doesn't do anything.
What?
Hello? I think your phone went out. Vincent's in a bad location. Vincent. Anyway, I am grateful that Mr. Ronnie Long was released, but we can't be distracted in believing that that there was some major war won there. Because for every one Ronnie Long that's released there, how many thousands that are being brutalized right now in the system. And beyond that, we talk about the school to prison pipeline. How many more are already being tracked to become Ronnie Longs? That's the other thing, right? So this system is set up that you drive down, and Diane, you and I went down, was it 14th Avenue in Newark? And I'm sure that there are 14th Avenues everywhere in this country. And all of them right now they've already calculated it in terms of the beds in the prisons, and the companies that are going to get the laundry contracts, right? All of that has already been calculated. They've already done the projections of revenue earned on the backs of these black Americans who they're going to be pushing through this system because of the policies that exist. So while we're celebrating this Ronnie Long getting out, they're already calculating the tens of thousands that are going to go in and are going to be the commodity to their continued wealth and power, according to them. And what are we going to do about it?
We ain't going to do nothing. We're doing the same thing. Nothing.
We're going to paint Black Lives Matter. They gave us that.
They're going to put a sign up because we now in Hillside have Black Lives Matter way.
That's right.
The town hall.
That's absolutely right.
No laws to go with it. When you speak to the council people, they're mute, and their supporters are saying, why can't you celebrate the small victories?
Right.
Of putting the sign up. That's
right. But it's not. But when you look at the indicator, when you look at the data, the question that you got to ask is this: how many black Americans entered into the prison system? Right? Did that number decline? Right? When we look at the disparity of blacks going into the prison system as opposed to everybody else, given the percentage that we represent in this country, has that changed? Right? So if none of those things have changed, but you allow us to put Black Lives Matter up on a street sign or paint it on a sidewalk, then Black lives really don't matter. Right? Because none of those things are changing. So it is no small victory. It is a distraction. It is a diversion.
Can you hear me now?
I can. I don't know what's going on with your audio, but we can hear you now.
Okay. Let me backtrack. First and foremost, Black Lives Matter and the movement now geared toward electing a person in your opinion will not make fundamentally change has been so people are paying so much attention to that person that the Russians, that Facebook announced that they have, and before they closed the group, one of the things that they found out in the investigation is that the Russians have targeted black people to not vote for Bernie Sanders. That's how important he is to them right now. That they are now working.
Absolutely. They've even said that they've taken on black political activists' persona to make people believe that that's who they are, to spew out whatever they need them to say.
Exactly. So if the Russians who are for Trump, and if for anybody who does not know that right now, the Russians who are for Trump, the Russians who have interfered in 2016 election process are now once again trying to take out the man in which everybody believes is going to make that fundamental change, or everybody except that percentage that believes that he is not going to do anything and it's going to be business as usual. But he is so strong right now, and he's such a concern, and he takes so much space in the Trump's camp that they're doing everything to stop him. So tell me if black lives don't matter when they're targeting blacks to make a change out of their interest. because Trump isn't saying anything about racial equality. He's not saying anything about closing the gap of black economics. He's not saying anything about health and welfare of black people. No, Biden is. And they're looking to destroy that person who is willing to be the voice.
No, but I'm not looking. Listen, I'm not looking for anybody to be the voice, right? I'm looking for somebody to do, and I'm saying that. Look, and we can have the conversation about that. Here's the question I want to ask you: for all of the media that is talking about Russian bots and Russians doing this and personas that are now on social media, this same media, and let's be clear, Vincent, there are Black Americans who are anti Biden, right? This same media is not talking openly about those real anti-Biden folks who are real, not bots, not Russian personas, but they're real Black Americans that don't see anything in it for them. Why isn't the media talking about them? Why aren't they bringing them on to have conversations about why they feel Biden is not offering any tangibles to Black Americans? I guess Vincent went out again. But I just want to be clear, right, that they're selective about the information that they're providing, right? So, and I remember when when you had ADOS and all talking about this issue, you had Joy Reid and you had Rachel Maddow, you had Lawrence O'Donnell, you had Chris Matthews, who I don't know where he is now, right? But he's no longer on MSNBC. They were trying to convince people that those black folks were not real, that those black folks were actually Russian bots. And Eddie Glaude came on and said, no, they're very real. And so I want to distinguish those that are personas from those who are real, and the media won't do that.
Well, first the media has to find somebody that's real, and that's the whole issue. Finding somebody that,
wait a minute.
That is real.
Well, wait a minute. Vincent, they're all over social media. They're literally... No. Wait a minute. Hear me out. They're all over social media, but they don't get allowed to be interviewed on these major liberal network channels. But they're there.
Yes, they're not on all the major liberal channels, but they are on channels. The problem that the major groups have, and when I spoke to somebody for a major network, is that when they investigate, because the major media has to do two things. They have to tell the truth, okay, because they have fact checkers, and two, they have to show both sides. When they look for these people on social media to make comments, they find them to be fake.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Let me ask you. No. So you're saying that when you look at Rachel Maddow, that she's sharing both sides? Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that Lawrence O'Donnell is sharing both sides?
No. What I'm telling you is that NBC, the national network, ABC, and CBS are looking to put both sides. Now you got CNN.
Where are you getting that information from, Vincent?
Please,
but I'm asking you. I just want to know where you're getting that information. Who's telling you that they are looking to share both sides of the story?
I talked to two producers from NBC. I talked to one producer from.
Bring those producers on this show. Bring those producers on this show, because I think it's bullshit. Bring them on this show.
You think it's BS, but that's the whole thing. They have infused so much BS that people
No. So, but we can clear it up. Bring them on the show. See, I want
to clear it up. Okay, so we can clear it up. I'll give a couple of calls and get them on the show. Okay, but to make the point is that there is so much fake stuff.
I'm not suggesting that there is no fake stuff. I'm suggesting
there is fake stuff.
No, I'm not. You didn't hear what I just said to you, Vincent. For argument, I'm not disagreeing with you that there is fake stuff. But what I am also saying to you is that Yvette Cornell, for instance, I guarantee you through this entire process will never, ever, ever be on any of those shows. She's real.
More than likely, she probably won't.
Right. Why?
Okay? But
Why?
Listen. But here's another point.
No, but answer the question. So to your producers, I want to ask them why. Have they extended an invitation to Yvette Cornell?
Well, when they get on the show, you can ask them.
Yeah.
You're asking me to ask a question in someone's mindset that I cannot do. Now, what I can tell you is what they told me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I can say that with 100% clarity. But in terms of asking the questions that I do not have the answers to is not wise. No, and it puts me in a position of
I understand. But there's some real people. Professor Truth, Yvette Cornell. Yeah. I can go down a list. I can give you a whole list of people that I could recommend need to be on their show.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. We'll put together the list, and we'll produce that show. Then we can get into their mindset and find out. No.
I can try to produce it here, right? But again, what we need to do, if you're saying that they're trying to be fair and balanced, the question that I'm asking you is this: that there are people out there that not just Russian bots, not just Russians who are creating personas of black people to convince other black people that black people are anti whatever. I'm saying that there are real black Americans out there who have a major issue, right, with Joe Biden, and they want to be able to push that up to the national media. And I'm saying to you, contrary to what your producers are telling you, they are sequestering those voices. They're not allowing those voices to rise up to the top. And I want to have a conversation with these producers who are saying that they are extending open invitations to black Americans who have an issue with this election right now.
And I'm telling you what they told me, okay? They have researched those who have been opposing Joe Biden. And what they have found is that they are either one, fake, or two, will not get on the show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That's how deep it is right now.
Right.
That's how much influence we have in fake news.
Right.
That's how bad they are targeting blacks against voting for Biden.
Right. So like I said, and I'll do some research and I'll do some reaching out to some of these voices. And some of these voices, literally, they have hundreds of thousands of views and followers on their social media sites, and they're having trouble even on their social media sites pushing out certain content without being cut off, right? And so I'm saying that there's this war out here to muffle the voices of black Americans and to create this false narrative that any time you're hearing from a black American that they have an issue with Biden, they're really not a black American, but rather a Russian bot posing as a black American. That is a very dangerous narrative to be pushing, because there are black Americans out there who have a major issue with the Democratic Party.
There are black Americans that do have a major issue with the Democratic Party. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, because they should have an issue with the Democratic Party. Now, but there are black Americans, but the bulk of them that are getting this incredible amount of voice and all of these likes, which, if the media source is fake, then you have to look at the actual likes and subscriberships that's fake too. It's the fruit of the poisonous tree. When you go to court, when you tell one lie, they don't believe anything that you said.
Listen, I think that this is a system trying to marginalize black people.
Go ahead, Diane.
The political phrase that they use for it is called the liar's divide. The way in which the environment is unclear about what's real and fake can benefit those who spread the fake lies.
Correct. And that's what we are fighting with. One of the things in which, in going on this show, that I make sure that I research everything that I talk on, so that I can say with a level of surety, either post or against, this is what is happening. And that's what that is the level of journalism that everybody should do. But we get these social media posts and these people who are experts. Even on CNN a couple of days ago, they had the Trump campaign talking and to do the pros and cons to bring a level of information from both sides. And what you find is that they don't stick to the issues. They keep talking and over talking when you bring the facts to them, so that it confuses people to not know the truth. That is what we are dealing with. That's the maximum sophisticated confusion that is nullifying the black vote. Talk about our voices not being held or heard or marginalized when they manipulate the black voice. It's the same thing. When you get a black person to not vote in their interest, it's the same thing. When you get a black person to vote to stay in the same condition that we're in, people are wearing masks. People are trying to figure out how they're going to keep their homes and keep their kids at home. This is the condition that we need to be galvanized and weaponized to fight against.
Right, but what I'm saying to you,
we can't get the right information.
But what I'm saying to you is this: I mean, the voting against our best interests and being conditioned to vote against our best interests has been something that both parties have become expert at. Right? Otherwise, right, we would be in better condition than we are in. So if, for the black Americans that have been voting, those that have been loyal specifically to the Democratic Party in my lifetime, they voted against their best interest. Right? So like this, I cannot and will not fall into this trap of looking at the Republican Party and saying that they're dirtier than the other wing of this disgusting bird. They're both dirty. They're both culpable, and they both benefited on the backs of black Americans voting against their best interests.
True, and that has been happening since the Emancipation Proclamation. That has been happening since the Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights legislation. And it still happens today. However, let's not focus on the micro. Let's look at the macro.
I'm looking at the macro.
Looking at the macro, the main focus on America, and they're looking at the black vote to be the deciding on it, is getting Trump out.
See, to me, that's not the macro. That's the micro. See, the macro is tearing down the structure that created Trump. That's the macro. The micro is getting folks to believe that the symptom is the actual core disease. And I'm saying, no, it's a symptom. And Biden is a symptom as well. This core disease. Right. And so I'm saying, so
it's true.
Right. So that is the micro, right? I'm going, no, let's look at what is producing all of this. Right? And the thing that is producing all of this, it reminds me of the movie Alien. Did you saw that movie with Sigourney Weaver? Remember when they were like killing off these little aliens, and then all of a sudden Sigourney found herself in this room and she saw the eggs, right? And she was getting ready to torch one of the eggs, and then she looked over and she saw this thing that was spewing out the eggs, right?
Yeah, the queen.
And then she said, yes, right. And then she said to herself, you could see it, she goes, okay, killing these eggs ain't gonna solve the problem. I gotta kill this big son of a bitch right here, right? And I'm going, all of these politicians are being spewed out by this structure. And so you can look, so if you looked at all those eggs and you said, that's the Congress, that's the Senate, that's the judicial branch of our government, that's our governors, our senator, that all of those are those eggs, right? All of them. But this queen is what is spewing them all out. So we could spend our time trying to shoot one, but for every one we shoot, and I'm speaking figuratively. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to go assassinate anybody. But as we try to get rid of one of these eggs, we know what, Vincent, that this queen is producing 20 or 30 or 100 more for every one that we might eliminate.
Well, here is the thing. Now, like, first and foremost, let's take on the Alien, because I'm a big Alien fan and a fan of the franchise. Now, when she went in there, she was going to kill it, but the queen was going to kill her. So she held hostage and said that, okay, you shoot me, I'll start shooting the eggs. So it stalemated and she backed off. Now, looking at it in terms of our condition today, in which you're putting this metaphor, we now have to look at and focus on this singular project. Yes, we've got a whole lot of down ballots that need to be voted out. But right now, when we start talking and diverting our attention to the other 9 million, we lose focus on the one big, the queen.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Let me finish. We cannot waste time on back and forthing and division of interest. Let's focus on getting Trump out.
Nope. So I got you. So here, but here's the question, right? Don't brush over. We're gonna stay at this metaphor for a minute, right? So you talked about she held a hostage. What are we holding hostage?
Again, what are we holding hostage?
That's absolutely right.
In terms of the propaganda?
No. What are we holding hostage in order to get what we want? Because she held, wait a minute, you see, you brought it up, right? And I'm a fan of the franchise too. So in order for her to get leverage, right, over the structure, right, that was producing these dangerous beings, right, she held something hostage. I'm saying for us as Black Americans to get leverage, what are we holding hostage?
Now,
answer my question.
I will answer your question.
Yep.
What we are holding hostage, and this has been backed up by social media, is the Black vote.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Why do you think that now this movement is going on and all this fake propaganda against the Black vote? Because when we don't vote, Trump wins. That's what they are now trying to manipulate. The Black vote. What people have been saying that they're holding hostage. When we don't vote, he wins. That's what happened with Hillary. When we don't vote, he wins. That's what happened with Reagan. When we don't vote, he wins. That's what happened with Bush. We are now holding hostage that vote against the Queen. And we are now holding hostage that vote against Trump.
So when we, you know what? So when we don't vote, right? Who loses?
We lose.
No, wait a minute, Vincent. Wait a minute. And I'm going to go back again to look at metrics, to look at data points. We don't lose. They lose.
Okay.
They lose at a higher level. This fight that's going on between all of these oligarchs and stuff, they lose. We don't lose. We've always been, Vincent, we don't lose. We don't lose. And that's a narrative that we have to stop selling. We don't lose. They lose. And so we're fighting for them.
That you just spoke of, okay? When we don't vote, over 3 million Black Americans did not vote. Okay?
Right.
Hillary lost, Trump won.
Right.
What did we get for it? Well, let's go.
Wait.
No. Please let me finish.
No, I'm not. You're making this seem like this is the Black people are responsible for somebody winning or losing. We not voting for Hillary is not a responsibility. What about all the white people who didn't vote for her? What about all the Jewish people, all the Indians, all the Hispanic people? Why are you always and everybody else pointing against the Black people who didn't vote for somebody that we knew wasn't going to?
And the Black people are the ones who get the shitty end of the stick every single day. Sure you can.
Can I answer her question?
Of course you can.
Okay, now the focus has been on, because they looked at the metrics of who voted. Now, just like they looked at the fact that Donald Trump got a huge portion of the white women middle class, they looked at the black vote and the registered voters and found that these millions did not vote. That was the result of it. That's
So
why
why do you think they didn't pull out the numbers for the Hispanics?
they did pull out the numbers for the Hispanic.
How come they have not talked about that? Because the Hispanics
They have
were
talked
large
about that.
supporters of Trump.
They have talked about that. They have talked about that.
But for Trump.
They have talked about that. But that's why they said that there is a huge amount of diversity in the Hispanic vote. Trump put that out. Now, and Biden even said that. But in terms of one particular group, and they looked at the white women, they looked at the Jews. The biggest indicator was the simple fact of the lack of votes in the black population. That was the biggest indicator. Now that is why they are targeting the black vote. They are saying, they want to say that, voting for Trump is not, or voting for Biden is not in the black interest, which nullifies the black vote. If they get it to that point again, Donald Trump wins, just like he did last election.
Right.
That's why they're looking at it.
So what I'm saying to you is this, right? I think that Biden is not in Biden being elected is in the interest of some people, but is not in the interest of black Americans, right? I'm not a bot. I'm not being paid by the Russians. I just know the facts.
Okay. And the facts are that, in terms of Biden's campaign, he has been saying he has put in the economic gap.
But let me ask you a question.
Let me finish. Because here is the big winner of the Trump campaign. The last statistic that came out 3 days ago is that the biggest loser in the Trump campaigns have been the small businesses. Businesses of 20 million and under have now are closing or on life support. The biggest winners are the big corporations, the top 5% who hold all this power, in which the oligarchs actually.
I don't disagree with you there, but let me ask you a question. All those businesses that you just talked about, what percentage of those businesses do you think are black?
Well, I can tell you that looking at the small business report, there are the bulk. In fact, the majority of them are minority.
No. You said minority. Wait, stop. See, wait a minute. Stop. I'm not going to let you do that, because when we talk minority, we talk white women. When we talk minority, we talk Indians. We talk Asians. When we talk minority, we're not talking black. I asked you a very specific question. What percentage of those small businesses that you just talked about being adversely affected are black American-owned businesses?
Now, and the reason that I cannot give you the exact percentage of
there we
black
go.
voters in answering your question is that, or black businesses, is that they are grouped in the minority class.
That's absolutely right. And there's the brilliance of the corporation of white supremacy. Bingo. Because what they do now is they get us fighting for somebody else, because we don't even know the data. But I'm telling you, there are people who know the data, and those people are not being invited on these shows to share it. And so now they get black Americans, right, supporting white women-owned businesses, believing that they're fighting for minorities. And I'm saying to you, and all the people watching and listening, that the business report that you're talking about is not primarily our issue, because we ain't there.
Well, I can tell you this, Eric. Even though, and everybody can confirm, that the largest recipient of government grants and contracts are white minority women. Now, but keep in mind that these white minority women are playing both sides of the field.
Of course they are.
Yes. Now, if I can finish this point, we are in that group. That group is suffering. Why are we not fighting to get relief?
Well, because within that group, you asked the question, so let me answer your question. You asked the question, let me answer the question. We're in that group, but where are we in that group, Vincent? We're in the very bottom of that group. And we're always going to be at the bottom of that group. So now when you say you want us to give 100% effort to stay at the bottom of a group that themselves want to keep their knees on our necks, I'm saying the hell with that. I'm not fighting to be at the bottom of nothing no more. Pardon my grammar. But I'm not fighting to be at the bottom of anything anymore. And there lies the issue, right? So they've convinced us that our interest is to fight to be where we are, because none of that is changing. No policies, no nothing is changing that. So they're going, yeah, you're part of this minority group. And now, so when we look in the margins and see where we are, look in the data and see where we are in this minority group, we're anchored to the very bottom. Right?
Okay,
and they're like, go ahead.
To answer your question, I'm not saying that we need to fight to stay at the bottom. What I'm saying is we need to fight to get relief. And the worst thing about it is that they put us in that group, which means that we have more allies for this fight.
They ain't fighting for, oh, Vincent, stop it. Are you kidding me? Them white women. I'm about to throw up. Vincent, you think they fighting for us? Come on now.
No, I don't think they're fighting for us.
You say we had allies.
I'm thinking, okay, so it's in their financial interest to win this fight.
No.
They're in that group.
Right, but Vincent, so here's the deal, right? So let us be clear. While they're fighting over here, they still got their knee on our necks.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't see their knee on our necks as much as I see the bigger group who has their knee on our necks.
What are you talking about? They're the wives of these white men.
They're the wives
Thank
of these
you.
white men. But here we go. And I did say earlier that yes, they do play both sides of the fence. But in terms of their finances, they were looking to see some improvement in these groups because they're property.
So what did Malcolm X say? When the white man can't get you, he will send in his white women.
Yeah, I agree.
You're confused, Vincent.
Oh no, I'm not confused.
Those people are never fighting for us.
You said we had allies. We got no allies, Vincent.
But they're also in this group. We're fighting for ourselves, but we're also in this group. Now, I'm not defending the simple fact of what they do, and I like to see policy that actually changes that as well, because they are no longer the minority. They are the majority, and they should be out of that group. But for right now, I don't need to change my focus on the singular, most influential or policy change that can happen, like voting out Trump. See, we keep getting into these distractions and falling for the shiny and lose the objective because we're all divided on these little shiny issues.
Oh, listen, it ain't no little shiny issue that America has his knee on my neck. I'm not confused or distracted about. And so America that spews out Trump and Biden. America that since 1692 has had an abusive relationship with Black Americans. America. I'm clearly focused on America.
Okay, so let's stay clearly focused on America, okay? And let's stay clearly focused on the person who has been perpetuating, and not only that, but he sent his lawyers to bail out and to represent the white man who shot people because we were protesting the death of a black man.
So you telling me 3 years?
That's what I'm saying, Diane. So 3 years, 4 years, over 400 years. Come on now. I'm focused on America. See, the shiny object for you is Donald Trump. See, that's your shiny object.
Yes, we have. No, I'm not saying that Trump started it, but I'm saying that he has spiked it. That's what I'm saying. And we need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of the simple fact of white privilege now to the point where somebody could shoot somebody, walk down the middle of the street in the midst of a riot with a semi-automatic weapon and not not be addressed by the police.
So wait a minute. So
Black
wait a
men
minute.
with no weapons and shot 7 times in the back. We need to fight that.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Wait a minute. Dylan Roof, who shot 9 black people in a church in South Carolina and was treated to Burger King. That was under what administration? Come on now. Come on.
That was in the Obama.
Thank you. So now wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You talking about white privilege, right? So I'm saying to you, whether it happened under Biden and whether it happened under Trump, it happened under Obama.
Okay. Now this is what Obama did that Trump canceled out. That a lot of people don't know. When this was going on, Obama initiated the investigation unit that the Fed.
I'm not suggesting he didn't.
Well, no, let me finish. The Fed come in and investigate it, and the Fed come in and prosecute it. That's why recently, because of their investigation, that situation in Florida, they just arrested the police.
I'm not.
Trump
Listen.
came in and shut that down.
But listen, what I'm suggesting to you, Vincent, is this: that under Obama, right? And I'm not blaming this on Obama. I'm saying America, right? Under Obama, though, where black Americans were being told that we were in a post-racial America, right? That's where we were, that we had finally arrived, right? In that space, you had a white guy go into a black church down south, kill 9 people, and then the cops treated him to Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So wait a minute. Okay. See.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
And so that culture, that thinking had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Thinking, that behavior has been around and has been perpetuated and accelerated over 400 years. And now you're saying, you know what? If we get rid of Donald Trump, there'll be no more Dylan Roofs. We get rid of Donald Trump, there'll be no more other white guys, right? Because you want to focus on this one white guy.
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what you're saying, or what you're interpreting what I said to say. Now, under the Obama administration, we have experienced the largest movement called white pushback ever. When we got Trump, it was like on steroids now, the pushback. What I'm saying to you is this, and I'll say it again, like I said 10 minutes ago. No, Donald Trump did not start this, but Donald Trump's rhetoric did spike it. It wasn't gradual. It wasn't a granular thing of small increase. It was a large increase, a spike in violence against police officers, against black, against everybody against black.
So I want to ask you this question, because we're talking about spikes, right? Because I operate on data. So, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm asking it blindly. And if somebody can report the data to me, then we can look at it, because we're talking about spikes, right? So what I want to know is in Donald Trump's 4 years, have there been more blacks killed at the hands of white cops or white people than in any other time? Right, because you're saying spikes, right? So I want to know that is the case. I want to know in all of these metrics that we're not just emotionalizing this, right? But that we have had more incidences of blacks being stopped by white cops than before, that we have blacks being acted against through macro and microaggressions than ever before. I want to understand that to be true based on data, right? Not just based on feeling and rhetoric. So I need somebody to post that in the thread for me to be able to see. Hold on, let's take this call. Caller, go.
Good morning. How y'all doing? It's Farrakhan. I just want to say to what Vincent just said. Don't listen to a lie. There has been this spike in police violence towards black people. I don't know where you would say it or where you think you can get that facts from. Okay, but if you go and look at the facts, you will see that white police officer brutality towards black Americans has been a consistent pattern. And it has definitely been a consistent pattern since 2000. Right? You can go back and look at the Brando Castillo case, where they said that on average, what was it, 11, in the last 10 years, there were 11 police murders of non-armed black people in that same town. Okay, if you go to New York City, how many cases have we seen in New York City of police brutality against blacks during the Obama administration, the George Bush administration? Don't just make facts up. That's what I mean. You always get to.
Well, it's not made up. MappingPoliceViolence.org, started by the Obama Foundation, found that police in the Obama and the Trump administration, police have killed 765 people. 74% are African Americans. And under the Obama administration, police have killed. In fact, and it goes, this is Trump's 4-year term versus Obama 8-year term. Police have killed 387 people. 92% are black.
Right now.
And it's called MappingPoliceViolence.org.
I'll be looking.
It says black people have been 28% of those killed by police in just 2020 alone, and 13%, and despite being only 13% of the population. And the last update came out in August 30th of 2020, and it has a button where you could download the full data.
So I asked for data, so I'm going to go look at it. So again, so you're saying that under the Obama administration, 8 years has
It has doubled.
It has doubled in Trump's 4 years of police officers shooting and killing black people.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll look into that data. Now, let me ask you a question. Does that website give the information about where this violence and shooting was prior to the Obama administration? Hold on one second.
I can't give you that answer because I'm not in that site again.
You're not where?
I closed the site.
Okay, let's pull it up. But I'm asking you, pull it back up and let's see. Prior to Obama, we had Bush. So does that site, or is that site specifically designed to target a comparison between Obama and Trump, or is the site?
And here's another one: National Mapping Police Violence. Let me go into that site.
Right.
And
while you pull that up, we just took another phone call. But what I want to know is, I want to know the prior administration, the Obama administration, and the previous administration's data. Call or go.
Hey, good morning, Eric. Hey, this is Will at Orange. Hey,
good morning, Will.
What's up, man? How you doing,
hey,
man?
Will, where you been hiding, man?
But listen, man, I agree with Vincent. Since Trump has been in office, there's been a lot of violence in this country due to the fact of the Black Lives Matter movement, due to the fact of killing many black African Americans in the country. Just chaos. Under Obama, we didn't have this. I don't think we had it, like this kind of stuff. It's kind of sad, But I wanted to bring us another point where we're talking about voting and all types of stuff. The presidential election is coming up. The presidential debates are coming up, and that's going to be very interesting. But now here in New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy was in the Star Ledger yesterday. New Jersey's mail-in ballots can be counted before Election Day. What do you guys think about that, and how effective and how beneficial would be to the local candidates and local elections here in Jersey? I just wanted to get your viewpoints on that. It says the supporters is a critical move to help ensure New Jersey certified results in time the state holds hybrid but largely mail-in ballot election in November. To detractors, it's another possible way to mess with voters in a presidential election. And the civic thing changed. Governor Phil Murphy signed into law late last month, allows election officials in Garden State to begin counting mail-in ballots 10 days before the November 3rd election. Previous, the count couldn't start until Election Day.
I think, Will, that's an excellent idea, and the reason being is otherwise you have boxes of ballots that are just sitting around. Now, from the inside, they open up those mail ballots anyway. They just don't record them because they open them as soon as they come in. But they should be open as soon as they receive. They should be opened and recorded. If they continue this for all future elections, this is going to show a change in how these local elections actually happen. Because, as you know, mail-in ballots is a big push for some candidates. Some candidates do a lot of mail-in ballots, especially in communities where they have senior.
Yeah, I do mail-in ballots for my county committee election.
Right,
So,
mail-in ballots are
that.
Right, mail-in ballots are like those last-minute pushes that can guarantee votes. So that's a great thing that they should be doing, because if they did that along with walk-in ballots and voting in person, when they printed the books, by the time you get to the machine, you would already see that the person had ballot was received and been counted, and they wouldn't be allowed to be able to vote a second time. So I think it's a great thing, but I think it should be.
I just wanted to mention, you guys,
well.
you know, as far as the election, we do have a school board election going on in Orange November 3rd. So there's some candidates that are running for the Orange school board election. November 3rd, they put it on the ballot, I guess, because of more people voting. But I just wanted to say this, you know, I've been hearing this conversation, you know, since Trump has been in office, like I previously stated earlier in different shows, we had a government shutdown, the coronavirus pandemic squad was terminated or finished, whatever the case may be, or fired. That's Obama, when he left office, told Trump, you know, don't get rid of these major programs and people that, you know, because 2020 started out with the bang. Now it's a disaster throughout the entire country. But I just wanted to bring Vincent's point in reference to killing of African Americans in this country and by police. You know, the relationship with the police and the African American community. You know, the police got to do a little bit better than that. You know, I live in the African American community here in Orange Township. The police relations have to get better. I don't know how it's going to get better, but that's some of my viewpoints of this morning on the show. And I'll let you guys go and take care of yourselves.
Hey, Will, thanks for your work, man.
That's my issue. You know, I'm a Caucasian. I live in an African American community. I'm born and raised here in Orange. You know, there was issues with you know, the Earl Faison case in reference to that police killing of Joyce Carnegie back in, I believe, in the 90s, where some officers had got indicted. You know, but the police conduct and here in Orange is trying to improve with our police athletic league under our director, Todd Warren, and officers are being hired on a regular basis here in Orange that live here by the mayor of the township. I believe there's going to be about 15 new officers coming onto the street in Orange. So hopefully the crime in Essex County will get better. We'll have a better 2021 because 2020 is done and you know, forgotten about. But I'm just going to let you guys go. And you guys have an enjoyable Labor Day. Okay, Eric, talk to you soon, man.
Hey, man, good talking to you, Big Will. Stay safe.
All right, I'll talk to you.
So, yeah, I'm gonna continue to do some research, and I'll look into the data you had more data before we took the call, Vincent, on another website.
I turned it off and talking to Will, but yes, let me pull it back up. National Trends Tracking Black Violence. Okay, now here's the graph chart. Black violence from 2013 to 2019. 2013.
That's where it starts? It doesn't go before 2013?
That's where this chart is starting. Okay? Now, It went from 1,089.
Gonna ask. I think I lost everybody. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna try to bring Vincent back on. And gonna try to bring Diane back on. Give me 1 second.
Are you there?
Yeah, there was I don't know what happened, but the last thing I asked you was, did it just start in 2013? You said yes, and then you started to read the data.
2013, 1,089. 2019, and then it started to slide down because it ends at 19. 2019, 1,140. Now, I'm looking for other charts, and I'm checking. There are other sites, but I haven't checked the validity of it. There is one by the Washington Post since 2015 to 2020 that says there have been more than 5,000 shootings.
Okay, up or down?
Up. And what Obama had started was after Michael Brown in 2014. He started the federal investigation, going at doing fatalities.
So now I want you to, and again, I'm doing this on the fly. I'll do some more research, and we'll actually dedicate more time to the show. Call a please hold. But I'm looking on USA Today. And I'm just pulling a snippet out of here, right? So it's out of context because I haven't read the whole article. But it says, and I was just looking, and I Googled to see if police shootings of black men were up or down. That's what I Googled under the Trump administration. And here is a paragraph out of USA Today. It says, the number of unarmed black shooting victims is down 63% from 2015 when data began. There are about 7,300 black homicides. So it goes on and on. But I'm gonna do some research because you're giving me some data. I'm looking at some stuff. Mine is out of context. I'm not
giving data, Eric. I'm looking at victims by. I'm looking at victims.
I looked up. Don't cut me off. Okay, he's not giving you data. He's giving you his reinterpretation of the data. See, what he's not telling you is that the chart that he's reading breaks it down in 3 levels, right? Urban, rural, and suburban. Okay? There has been an increase. There has been an increase.
First and foremost, that what you're reading is not the chart that I gave him. So please don't misquote me. I've told you what I'm reading from.
But again, the statistics are based on that chart. So
no, what I'm reading is not based on that chart because I'm not reading that chart.
All right, okay, let me. Yeah. So what?
Okay. Please just let me finish. The way the chart is broken down, it breaks it down into 3 categories. So when he says there's been 1,000 of something, he's breaking down where the 3,000, where the 1,000 came from 3 different categories.
No, I'm not. Again, Farrakhan.
No, wait a minute, Vincent, stop. 1 second. Wait a minute, guys, 1 second. So what? Wait a minute, Farrakhan. Wait. Okay.
Black folks understand. People are getting killed in the God, it's hard to see colors. In the rural areas more than they are in the suburban areas. Right? We're at the 2013 mark. Okay, people were getting more killed in the urban areas. Then that has fallen. Okay, while the urban areas have risen, the suburban areas have essentially stayed the same, a slight increase, but in the end, blacks are not being killed since Donald Trump's last 3 years at a greater rate than previous years, right? And again, it did not cover the entire history of President Obama's presidency. It only covers the last 3 years from 2013. So they're changing the way those statistics are read.
Now, are you finished?
Well, I want to
Because
ask
I don't wanna
one.
interrupt you.
No, I want to ask one question. I just need to ask one question. Are you guys? Can we agree that you're looking at how you're interpreting it? I mean, whatever. We'll get to that. But are you looking at the same chart?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are not looking at the same chart because mine does not have an urban or suburban breakdown.
Okay. Okay. Stop. 1 second. What chart are you looking at? Can you put the link in the thread of the chart you're looking at, so that we can be on the same page, right? Because I think that that's important.
I think that that's important too.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So that link will go up, and Farrakhan, I appreciate the fact that you have the time to be able to go and look, because I want to, and we're at 11:20, so I'm not sure how far we're going to get through this, but I guess what I want to be able to do, and not necessarily in this show, maybe it's for another show, maybe it's for us to put this information up here so that everybody can evaluate it, and then we come back and do another show where we're talking about these kinds of things. See, because I think we have to push back and challenge this stuff. So when somebody says, oh, well, violence is up under Trump, and we just accept it, right? Because the media shows it, right? And understand what media shows it. The media is as anti-Trump. And I'm not suggesting that I don't know, should they be anti-Trump or not? But they are, right? So
the mapping, the police violence link that he directed us to, I just put it up in there, and you can see all the charts and the breakdowns yourself. It's essentially the same.
Eric, I sent it to your email. I can't get it on the Facebook
thread. I put it in the Facebook thread. But I gotta go. I'll keep listening.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll spend some time looking through it, and and we'll have a more comprehensive conversation about it, because me trying to navigate these buttons and read the content and do the show, it's kind of complicated, right? And I don't want to put the listener and the viewer through that. But rest assured, guys, I'll try to find some time today to read it, and then we can discuss it. But I just want to make sure that we're not just accepting what somebody is telling us, right? So somebody says, "Oh, crime is up with Trump," and then we just say, "Okay, we're gonna believe that," and then we're going to, based on that premise, decide a path of action. I'm saying let's challenge that, provide the data. So we have data now. I see Farrakhan's link in the thread. Vincent, you sent me something. I'm going to look at it all, and then we'll be able to discuss it. And I hope you look at what Farrakhan sent as well, guys. And then I'll take Vincent's stuff.
I'm looking at his thread. That's not what.
Well, I'm not saying that it's what you put up. I'm just asking.
Go ahead.
No. I'm not saying necessarily that it's what you put up. I'm saying, is it valid data? Is it data that we should be looking at, right? And if Farrakhan is saying that when he looked at this data, it suggests that crime has not gone up under Trump, I'm saying, well, is this a credible site? Is it credible data? And then if it conflicts with your data, then we have to look at that further now. Right. And and what it does is it gives us more reason now to be cautious, to say, well, wait a minute, we were about to operate under this premise, but now with just a tiny bit of research, we found some conflicting data that we're going to evaluate. And so now if we come out of this and saying, well, you know what, with everything that we see, and this is just one scenario, we come out of this reviewing the data with our limited resources to do research, right? But we now come out and say, hey, look, we have reason to believe that what's being promoted on the media isn't necessarily true, which is that, black folks ought to fear more under Trump than they were fearing in this America that I say has been brutal to Americans for 400 years. Well, okay, then now why then would this media be promoting this narrative as opposed to having us focus on America's brutality as opposed to this perceived Donald Trump administration rise in brutality? See, and now we start to raise those questions.
To answer your question, yeah, a lot of it, because you're looking at the data of increase has now been exploited under the Trump administration.
And that could be geared to getting black people galvanized to vote against Trump. But there is an increase, which we have seen. Now, the fact that the media has chosen under the Trump administration to push that narrative, yeah, no doubt in my mind.
Well, again, you're saying again.
No. Let me say, but here's the thing: it is still going on.
Right, but you said something again, which I'm just going to push back against you, because you say there's been this increase that we've seen. I'm not sure that that's the case. I know that the media is promoting that, but I don't know that is the case based on data. Call or go.
Hey, this is Will at Orange again. I just wanted to share something with you guys. Agee.com or Star Ledger. New Jersey Police Union endorses Trump. New Jersey's second largest police union joined every other fraternity order police group in the country to endorse President Trump for re-election on Friday. Trump has stood with offering during recent months of protesters, said Robert Fox, president of New Jersey's state fraternal order of police. The two represent the most in New Jersey's approximately 38,000 full-time police officers. So I just wanted to share this with you guys on the show, reference to police and community, and that's all I got for today, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate you, Vincent. Will. Thank you.
So the police and union, the police unions are supporting Trump. So what does that say to us? I mean, he can't even come there and say the name of the man who was shot and the reason for the protest.
Right, but wait a minute, stop, Vincent. I'm not going to allow you to do that. You know what? So here's the deal, guys. Let's understand this. That family is, I would imagine. Maybe I shouldn't even say this because I haven't read it. I didn't see it anywhere. It's instinctual for me to say this, that family is probably anti-Donald Trump. Right?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay. So
the mother told him.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So understand this. So when people say Donald Trump didn't go to see the family, that's a setup. Right? And I'm not for Trump, or I'm just, like I said, I'm for black people. But I'm going, if Donald Trump went there, it would be the worst public relations event of his campaign. So when you have people going, well, he's not going to say, you goddamn right he's not. And if I were counseling him, I would say don't go. Right?
Eric, he did go.
To meet the family?
Donald Trump, yes, he did. The mother stated, and this was on 3 of the newsprints. The mother told him that she did not want to see him.
Right. So what I read was that he went there and he didn't see the family. That's what I read.
No. Yeah, he didn't see them because she would not allow him. Now, Biden went there and she did talk to Biden.
Right, I understand that, right? So that's all, that's all,
In fact, Donald Trump went there and the police told him not to go there. But he went there anyway.
Okay. So, go ahead.
And when he went there, he hailed the police and did not mention the reason for the protest.
Okay, so again, I'm saying, what did you want him to do, Vincent?
What do I want to do?
No, what did you want him to do? What did you think he should do?
What I thought that he should do was actually say something in terms of the injustice where the situation presents, where they shot a man, put 7 bullets in the back of a man. Okay, the police did that. Yet they did nothing for a man walking down the street with an automatic weapon.
Mm-hmm.
The injustice of it. Part of the big, I believe one of the biggest things that we should be moving for with this movement and the black agenda is getting equality. Because I also believe that if we pair apples to apples, level the playing field, the black man having the same opportunities and the same equalities as those people who are privileged, we will excel. We can close these gaps. Just take your knee off our necks. There's no way in God's green earth, in an equal justice system, that a man can shoot 3 people, killing 2, yet walk down the street with an automatic weapon. If he was black, those police would not have rolled by him. They would have jumped out and beat him to death.
But I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Hold on one second. Caller, go.
I got a question for Vincent. Vincent, how can you knock Donald Trump for not mentioning the man's name or congratulating or supporting the police officer when, as you just said, he actually offered his hand to the family? He asked to meet with them. They rejected him. So after that, I can't discredit. He did what he was supposed to do. Did he not? He offered to speak to the family to see what they were feeling, to see how they felt about it. But they rejected him. That's on us, closing doors instead of opening the door. So how can you say anything anti-Trump about that?
Okay, well, this is my position to answer your question, Farrakhan. He went there because of the riots. The riots were there because they punched 7 bullets into the man. If he went there to actually show support to anything or anybody, it should have been a simple fact of saying that, you know, we needed some level of police not being warriors, but police being more citizens. If he went there if he had any thought of uniting or gaining some votes, he should have gained some more support on both sides, even though the woman did reject him, because there are a lot of people who rejected President Obama coming to visit them, yet he still stood in support. There were a lot of people who rejected Ronald Reagan, yet he still stood in support. That was a huge injustice, yet he supported the oppressors rather than the person who was unjustly shot. Yet he supported the vigilante, this teenager who went out there on the sole purpose of killing people, and even sent his attorneys. Yet he did not send anything to this black family where a man is paralyzed.
Well, one, that would be because they told him don't come to him. So I don't want your help, right? I don't want nothing from you. Stop it, man. I mean, what you're saying is that no matter what he does, he's going to get the blame for it?
So, Vincent, let me ask you a question. Vincent.
That's not what I'm saying.
Vincent.
That is not what I'm saying.
Vincent.
Will.
No, it's Farrakhan.
What needs to stop is you putting words in my mouth. I did not say any of that.
Vincent.
Those are the words that came out your mouth. You said that he done what Barack Obama and Ronald Reagan did and should have still supported the victim. He doesn't have to do that after the victim's people say don't come around. He doesn't have to.
Now, I do agree that he does not have to do it. But if you're going there for the cause of the riot, then address the cause. Don't address the people who killed him or shot him.
The cause is fighting the police. In all honesty, we don't even
the cause of the riot was not
fighting the police. The cause the cop got tased, walked away, walked to his car, reached in his car, and the cop shot him. I don't think he should have shot him 7 times, but man, you getting shot.
That was the cause. The simple fact that he should not have been shot. That was the cause.
Okay, well, guess what? I want to see what you do when somebody choke you out and then start to walk away to their car and reach in it. I want to see what you do with your gun.
First of all, with my experience, when I choke somebody out, they ain't getting up. So you will see what I do. Second of all, all that question does is change the existing subject. The whole riot and everything was the simple fact of a black man being shot who was unarmed. That was the whole thing, which has been going on in America for a while.
I'm sorry, but apparently he wasn't armed because he said he had a knife and they found it.
No, he did not say he had a knife. He did not say he had a knife. The police said he had a knife. And every time
that I have read is that he told the police he had a knife. Now, if you want to get into whether or not the police are lying, okay, I haven't heard him deny that yet.
The police report stated that he had a knife.
and I have not heard this man who has repeatedly made statements. I just looked at a video of him talking about, I'm going to be all right, I'm going to get through this, right? And he didn't say, nah, man, I didn't have the knife. So I'm not even going to debate that with him.
He said he didn't. Here's the report, and I'm going to read. The witnesses in the car, the people around said that he did not have a weapon. He did not have a weapon because he was choked out of the cage.
I did not ask what witnesses say. I'm saying, what did he say? He is alive and competent enough to speak. Has he ever said he didn't have a knife?
Well, would you actually say that when you're about to go on trial? Come on. That's the first thing. Okay? No, please.
I haven't heard him deny it.
See, that is one of the biggest problems with denial. We always come up with another subject to change when you can't win that subject.
No, Vincent.
The simple fact, Farrakhan, is this. Okay? The simple fact, Farrakhan, is that everybody around him said he didn't have a knife.
No, Vincent.
The police said he did.
Vincent.
The only person that's going to know I got a knife or a gun is the person I'm pointing at or shooting at.
Vincent.
But you just said that this man said he had a knife.
Vincent, no, that's not what he said. Wait. That's not what he said. He said that the man didn't deny.
He made a statement to the police that he had a knife.
You said, okay, so you're saying that he did not deny to the police that he had a knife. When the man was... Okay, well, why does he have to deny their statement against him?
Wait, no. I don't, wait, stop. I'm not trying to go, no, wait, stop. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole, right? So here's the fact, right? You have witnesses who made a statement. You have the police who have a report. You have the victim who's alive who has not refuted the police report. That's the facts, right? So I just want to operate from those facts, right? Did I get that right? You have witnesses who've said one thing. You have something else that's in a police report.
Which contradicts the witness statement.
All right, okay, fine. But you have and then you have a live victim who didn't do one of two things. He didn't support the statements of the victim, of the witnesses, and he did not refute the statement in the police report. Right? He didn't do that. He has the power to do either of those things. Did not do either of them. So we have witnesses, we have the live victim, and we have what the police say. Right? I need to hear from the live victim, right? Mm-hmm. That's who I need to hear from. And to date, he could set it to rest as to whether or not he was armed or not. Right? He could do that, and he hasn't done that. So I'm not gonna. Now, so wait a minute. Let me finish, please. So I am not going to defend somebody who to date hasn't decided to defend himself against that accusation.
Okay. Now, Eric.
Yes.
The gentleman does have an attorney, correct?
I'd imagine so.
Okay. Now, what would Jacobs Blake attorney say to him about making a statement?
No, I get that, Vincent. So that's why I'm saying, so since he's not right now prepared to defend himself against that, I'm not going to sit here and defend him.
I think he is prepared to defend himself against that. Well, he is just waiting.
Then I'm gonna wait. And all I'm saying is he gonna wait? I'm gonna wait. But you're sitting here. But you're sitting here saying the man was unarmed. That's what you said. You're not waiting. I'm waiting.
Okay, and I said the man was unarmed because I saw the video.
No, you said it because you said to me that because the witnesses said it. Right? And I'm saying to you...
I didn't say that the witness said that.
Okay.
Farrakhan said that the witness said he had a knife.
You didn't say so. You said the witnesses said he didn't have a Christian.
Okay, now I did say that. I said that the witnesses stated that he did not have a knife.
Right.
I did say that.
Right. And so what I'm saying to you is this. I'm saying to you, I agree with everything that you said about him and his lawyer and what his lawyer is probably telling him to do and not to do. And so what I'm waiting for, I hear what the witnesses said. I know what's in the report, but I know that we have a live victim. And so I am not going to do something that he is not prepared to do yet. I'm going to wait.
I agree.
Right. And so I'm not saying, so since he didn't say I was unarmed, I'm not going to say he was unarmed.
Right.
But you said he was unarmed.
Okay, I said he was unarmed, and this is why I said he was unarmed. Because I watched the video.
Okay. I'm not watching the video
of a man with nothing in his hand get into his car and 7 bullets pumped in his back.
Right.
Okay, hold up. But did you see in that video where he was choking police officers or fighting them? Did you see in that video where he got tased? That video only shows part of a situation. You understand? And there's a part of that situation that we fail to understand, right? That we fail to get the full information on. I'm not for shooting a man 7 times.
And neither am I. And I want to be clear about that.
I don't accept that. I think that was wrong. All right, but do I expect that he would have been shot for reaching in that car? Absolutely. Okay, there's no question to that. He reached into that vehicle. He didn't even attempt to sit in the vehicle. He reached into the vehicle. Okay, he was going to be shot for doing that. Okay, now going back to what this was all about anyway, which was Trump. Okay, Trump went there, like you said. He spoke to the family or reached out to the family, and the family rejected him. After that, it's ball game. Trump can do and say whatever he wants. Don't sit up here and say he's now got to still justify the actions or not justify the actions of the police officers. Don't say he has to do that, especially when, and I'm going to be clear with you, in as many legal situations as I have, if I had innocent, if it was such a high-profile case as this, if I am innocent, okay, of all the charges, of all the accusations from the police, my lawyer would say that publicly. Now, they may not say this detail and that detail, but say you're innocent of the charge. That has never been said by him. So I'm going to go on what I understand about attorneys. They're not going to suborn any lies or perjury. But that man obviously had the knife that he said that the police are saying he had. Because otherwise...
Well, let me ask you this question. So the knife that they said that they had in the report, is that or not? See, I don't know this, but it'll be resolved very quickly. If there was a knife, and if the knife is in evidence, right? And if the guy did have the knife, then I would imagine his fingerprints would be on there, and then that would just kind of be what it is, right? So
correct.
Right. So we're gonna find that out.
Correct, and all of that will come out. Now let's look at reports. They just went to Breonna Taylor's fiance, and gave him a sweetheart deal if he did a false report against Breonna Taylor. So don't tell me that the police are not, or don't do that.
No.
Look, my police report was the best fiction I've ever read. Let's look at the police report on Eric Gardner. That was fiction. You know, let's look at the police report on.
I'm not suggesting that the police don't lie. I'm not suggesting that. What I am saying to you is this: listen to what I'm saying, right? The difference is the people that you just mentioned, they're dead. I'm saying this guy's alive, so I'm gonna wait for him. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna wait for him. Then when he moves, I'm gonna move. I'm going to say something. But I'm not going to go out and defend a guy who's not defending himself right now. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree.
We
should wait on that.
There we go.
But I can tell you this, with all of those police behind him, you mean to tell me that they had to shoot him rather than tackling him?
No. Listen, I'm saying to you again, and I think Farrakhan said it, I don't believe they should have pumped 7 bullets into the guy. Right? I do believe, and I've said this for years, when you don't comply, expect bad things to happen. Now, we can look at the video of how they treat white people, how they treat other people, but we already know historically how they treat black people. And so because I know that, Vincent, when I'm asked to comply and I don't, and I already know how they treat black people, whether I believe it is wrong or not, I'm going to comply if I don't want the worst thing to possibly happen to me. And then what? Wait a minute. And then what? I still.
Comply.
But no, that's what. See, that's what you interrupted me. And because I know that even when I do comply, that there's a possibility. But wait a minute. But no. But my point is, right. But wait a minute. But, okay. But what I understand. But what I understand is that even when I do comply. So here's the thing. Look, for every black American listening to this show, here's the deal. Based on data, right? Based on our understanding of how they see us, right? Based on all of that, we need to respond accordingly. So because I have all this information, when I'm stopped, I know there's no doubt in my mind that I am a black American. There's no doubt in my mind that they know I'm a black American. Based on all of the data, all of the videos now that I've seen, right? I understand what could go down, right? And so I am working as hard as I can to de-escalate that situation so that the worst case scenario doesn't realize itself. Now, when I do things, and even when I do the right thing, like the black guy who laid on the ground with the psych patient and then they shot him in the ass anyway, right? Laying on the ground with his hands up. I saw that video. So I know that that's a possibility that I might comply. Or the video that we recently saw where the black guy put his hands behind his back and the cop ran behind him and kicked him in the back. I understand that. So even when I comply, I know things can go wrong. So how much worse could it be when I don't comply? So now when you got this guy who's not complying and he goes to reach in his car, see, bad things, really bad things, really, really bad and unjust things could happen. They could. So comply. I understand all of that, Vincent. And you can give me the argument about, well, they wouldn't have done it if it was a white guy. I got it. We saw videos. We see the white guy who shot these people and he walked down the street past cops and they did nothing. Okay, fine. Saw it. I know that the melanin in my skin will never give me the appearance of being white. So none of those things are likely to happen for me. And so I have to comply. And so should he have been shot 7 times in the back? Absolutely not. Was the probability of him being shot great? Yes, it was. Because he was black? Absolutely. Because that's the America we live in. Not the Donald Trump America, not the Joe Biden America, but the America that produces all of this. Hello.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt
Yep,
you.
so I'm done. I'm done.
But to answer the question, to dispel the myth, looking at the cause, and I just Googled it, of George Floyd's death was not overdose. It was complications due to the fact of suffocation. The knee on the neck.
Well, I've heard that too, but the interesting thing is that I can't breathe part of it started while he was standing up walking across the street. So I don't necessarily know how to
saw the George Floyd video where he was there with the guy's knee on his neck and he's saying, "Mama, help me, they're trying to kill me."
And if you saw the video, or the whole video, or all the video, then you also saw him walking across the street saying, "I can't breathe." Or did you not? Because you can go on my page and look it up. Because I posted those videos.
Okay, now, he held his hands up in the air, and I don't know the mindset of him and why he did that. But I can see the simple fact. What? Can I answer the first question before you give me the next? Once again, all that does is cause confusion, and we go down a rabbit hole, and we don't address the additional issue. I had my ex-wife, one of her biggest things that she would do when she was losing an argument was consistently change the subject, because we never got to the subject. Now, can we get back to the subject? His cause of death was the simple fact that this man had his knee on his neck until he ceased to breathe. All that other stuff doesn't matter. Can I speak? Did I speak? When I'm done, yes. All that. You paused for like 3 seconds. So then I was going to speak, so I said before I did that, I asked. Okay. Right? But if you want some more to say, say it.
Thank you very much for your politeness. All that other stuff is, once again, the confusion and sophistication of justifying an act that led a man to his death. The cause of his death wasn't a simple fact of drugs. He could have or could not have used it. But even on drugs, he would not have died if he had air. I'm finished.
Okay. Again, I've read like two different autopsy reports. You know, there's the one the family did and the one the police did. Now, as I understood it, they definitely said that it was asphyxiation in the original one, the one done by the police, right? However, again, I'll say with that, I'm waiting for the trial because I want to see if that's what they say in the end. Because again, like I said, he was claiming that same "I can't breathe" on the ground when he was standing up and walking. You know it, and I know it because you saw the videos. I don't know what his real cause of death was. I've heard that he had an insane amount. Let me finish. Right? I didn't know. Yeah, you just jumping in.
No. I apologize. Please finish.
There was an extreme amount of narcotics in his system in that same report that you're talking about, right? Which they say would have also caused or been a contributing factor. I do not know. Okay. So with this one, and that's why I believe the way that the police has handled it and the prosecution is handling it, they're sort of keeping certain things quiet. Because I know when they go to trial, they're going to unleash some things that's going to get those police officers off. I believe that. I believe that they have enough proof, a reasonable doubt, okay, to his medical condition, that he will not go, it will not be from suffocation when they get in front of that jury. That's what I'll say about that. You know, but again, listen, I think we're arguing the wrong thing. Blacks in America are inappropriately, misproportionately abused, killed, shot, all of that by police. I don't have any questions to that. I'm just saying we don't have to put the Trump name at the end of that.
That's exactly right, and I think that's where we are, right? Like this whole we're pretending like all of this that we're discussing right now just started with Trump. And I'm saying, yo, when was that? I mean, we can keep going. Trayvon Martin, when was that? We can continue. We can go all the way back, a timeline dating from 1619 or before to now. And I don't want to just say, you know what? Let us put the microscope on this one period without paying attention to that and all of the people who were involved during those times. So when we have the conversation about the Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers and the Joe Bidens who've been in government for decades, right? And they never put on kente cloth and took a knee, or they never. I'm saying to myself, stop it.
And Eric, to your point, what I'm saying is this: no, it did not start with Donald Trump. But what I'm saying is that the movement wanted,
and it's not going to end with Biden.
No, what they wanted to do is end.
No, but that's why I just said to you, it's not going to end with Biden. Didn't start with Trump.
I wanted to end.
Say that.
I wanted to end.
I don't really think they wanted to end.
I wanted to end.
Talking outside.
All of those thousands. Let me answer the question, okay? I wanted to end. All of those thousands of people who are out there protesting wanted to end.
That's where we disagree again, Vincent. I think that the majority of those people that are out there just to be out there. See, we had this conversation last week. I don't think that they're as dialed in as you want them to be. I think that a lot of them show up because there's something going on. And they say, what's going on? I'm going to go hang out with what's going on. Right? And then they go home.
I do not disagree with that point. There are bad actors in every.
No. I didn't say bad actors. No, they're not bad actors. They are just people who, when they see a crowd, they want to be a part of the crowd. They don't want to necessarily do anything, so they're benign. They're not bad actors. They're just benign, right? They don't want to see things change. If you go and look, I would say that those thousands of people, a lot of them probably are not registered to vote. A lot of them probably haven't voted. A lot of them don't clean up their neighborhoods. A lot of them don't do anything, but they saw something going on. They said, hey, I want to go hang out with that. And then they take out their smartphones, they take their selfies, they put them up on Instagram to see how many likes they get. and how many more followers they get. So I don't want to give this false narrative that says that when we look and we see those people out there, these are people who are out there because they want change. There are people out there because they want promotion. There are people out there, they want a whole bunch of different things. So please don't say that they're all out there because they want that.
Eric, I'm not going to say that the majority of people out there, or the people out there in their totality, are going to put their lives in danger for the simple fact of getting 300 likes on Facebook. There are people who are truly invested in the change, and they are out there to show their support. Now, I don't believe anybody's just going to jump in their car, go 3 states away, or whatever the case may be, to waste their time, endanger their lives in a COVID-19 if they do not have some sort of investment into the change.
I disagree with you. I think that black people are that shallow. I think some black people are that shallow.
Vince, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you think those same people that are protesting against that violence want to see black people financially and equally parity to them? Do you think that they want that? Do you think that they want?
Can we just stick to one question? Can we stick to one question? I think that the people, or a majority of the people, because like I said, there are some bad actors, and all we do in addressing those bad actors, again, is deflect and go down another rabbit hole. But I do think that people were there, and a majority of people were there, were looking for at least some equality in terms of the way the police treat black people, because that's why they were out there. That's what was the cause of it. To think that people would just, plan a freaking event and a picnic and make a picnic out of it just with some likes on Facebook is an insult.
No,
and it stops people from actually helping with the movement. The simple fact that we have allies.
Stop giving me credit calling it a movement. It ain't no movement.
Well, in your opinion, it's not a movement. But in their opinion, it is a movement. I applaud people who would rather stand and fight than to die on their knees. I applaud a group of people who will stand up against the injustice rather than sit back and talk about it. I applaud people who want to make their voice for right rather than rationalize and slave whisper the wrong.
Well,
I applaud that.
Listen,
I applaud people for standing up.
Look. Like I said, Vincent, I think that there are people who just show up, and maybe I can convert those people into being active people in whatever movement the core group has tried to create. I'm not as optimistic as you because I'm a student of history, and I recognize that people will if you get 100 people marching down the street that I'm on right now, you'll get people coming out and looking and wondering what's going on, and they'll just come and they'll march because they want to see where the march ends and what's going to happen, but they're not necessarily vested in what the march was supposed to be about. They just and that crowd will grow like a rock rolling down the hill, gather moss, right? So it'll do that, but it doesn't mean that those people, when you get to whatever the end line is for that march, that those people, as the majority of those people there, are bought into whatever the march was for. It just means that they followed along.
Again, Eric, because we keep revisiting that point, and I do not, and I have no level of disagreeing that there are some people who just join in just to join. But what I am saying is that in its totality, there are people who are looking and voicing their opinion for fundamental change, for equality, for because you know what? I'm scared to death of my child driving.
Yeah.
I'm scared to death of my child being out there.
So let me ask you a question.
So if people are out there, if people are out there protesting to bring some level of enlightenment of what's happening so that can stop, I'm all for it.
Right.
What's your question?
No. And so my question to you is this: do you fundamentally believe that in November, if Biden is elected, that you'd have any less fear of your child being stopped by the police?
I fundamentally believe with every fiber of my being that
that we will bring, that Biden will bring some level of exposure and change to our condition.
Now, let me ask you another question, and we're at the 12 o'clock hour. Last question. I want to know how many black people felt more comfortable being stopped by the police under Obama than they feel now? Like, so when you, like, black driving...
I can't tell you about how many black people, but I can tell you about me being a black man.
All right, yeah.
Now, under Obama, did I feel comfortable in being stopped by the police? No.
Uh-huh.
Because I will never feel comfortable of being stopped by police because it's post-traumatic stress. I was stopped by the police.
We're at the 12 o'clock hour, so let's go quickly.
Hold on. Pull out of my Bentley and had the crap beaten out of me.
Right.
Losing 2 teams.
I'm saying we're at the 12 o'clock hour. Make it quick.
Vince, can I ask a question? Did you have a Bentley or a Rolls Royce?
Had a Bentley.
But you told us on the show, we can go back and look at it, you said it was a Rolls Royce.
No, I didn't.
You need to make a you want to bet?
All right.
No, I had a Rolls Royce.
So I don't know that that's look. All right, hey guys, thanks for the show. I'm ending the show.
I had a Rolls Royce.